And I think we are live, Mr. Sean Murphy.
Hey, what's good, baby? Welcome to the Woodward Business Table Talk.
Kanye West music to my ears. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh man, gotta love that Kanye West, man. Oh,
Bro, I love it. Sean, man, tell the people who we got with us so far.
Absolutely, my guy. First and foremost, to the left of me is the godfather of Woodward Pistons, my man Detroit Kool-Aid. But in addition, we got video editing extraordinaire Carl Collins as well. But also we got Detroit royalty, Mr. Everything Mother King is in the building.
Let's go.
What's good, man? Y'all got to stop calling me royalty. I'm just the old guy.
Hey,
let's go.
You call yourself the Everything King, and you don't want me to call you royalty?
That's absurd.
Listen,
you literally have king in your box. By definition, that is a type of royalty.
And check this out. There's only so many people who can really rock with like self-given names like that.
Oh, if I
and it actually pans out.
Listen,
I know a guy like there's only two. It's LeBron.
Listen, if I
don't
call
put me in a category with him, where is
let's
Deuce?
just be honest about it. Hold on. Let's just have an honest conversation.
LeBron, bro.
If I called myself king, people would look at me and go, "Oh, you, go yourself. You ain't no king." Whereas everything, it's king. What's up, man? Like it just fits.
Man, y'all something else.
But speaking of something else, I told these guys I was gonna have these 4 sound bites that I was just gonna use throughout that I recorded at the right before this stream, and I was like, I'm not telling you guys what these are. Are you ready to hear what they are?
Yeah, man.
All right, I got 4 of them. So first of all, we got "Life is Pain." So that's a fun one. That one's a favorite of mine. That one feels pretty good. I got Troy Weaver.
Oh my god.
We got Troy Weaver.
Yo,
Man just knows what he's doing, man. That's all I'm saying. We got Corey Joseph. Corey Joseph.
that one's not that amusing.
And speaking of Corey Joseph, he gonna get the bag. He gonna get the bag.
Shout out to Josh Forbes, man. Shout out to Josh Forbes. We definitely appreciate it. Appreciate all the support,
definitely
man.
appreciate that, man. Appreciate everyone that's coming in, including at the Assassin King. We got everybody coming through. We appreciate y'all, man. I saw another comment coming. I was like, oh, that's Carl. I can't shout out Carl in the comments because he's on the screen.
That's the man.
Oh my god, guys! I don't know about y'all. No, Josh. I've never in my life fooled once. I have never been caught in the act of fooling. That is not me.
Fool.
Man, I don't know about y'all. I am getting to the point where it's just like, anyone have any basketball? Like, I'm just like, I am
a junkie. I like a junkie, man.
Dude, so I'm not sure, on League Pass, they started having the Pro-Am games on there. Also joined by our guy downtown Deuce.
That's good news.
Building.
Deuce.
Man.
What's going on, fam?
Man, can't wait for Destination Restoration, man.
Hey, man. Hey, really quick. I'm not sure if I don't want to butt in, but Carl is a monster, guys, with this video stuff, man. He's an absolute beast. I can't wait for you guys to see the finished product.
He is. Absolutely.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it too. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
anyway, I went back and I watched the Pro-Am game where Chet and Paolo teamed up. I want to go back and watch. There was one where the Hawks Big Three teamed up over the weekend. In addition, I've been watching some Pistons games from last season. I made the dumb decision to go from towards the beginning of the year to towards the end. Hey, we're joined by Lexi. What's up?
Hey guys, sorry, I was sucked in the NFL game going on right now, and I got sidetracked.
That's right. We got football starting. That's what's up. Man, you know it's great. We got the Jaguars versus the Raiders. That's the first matchup of the year I've been looking for.
Hey,
You know what?
Lexi. Hey, Lexi.
Right.
What?
I see you got
Hey,
yours.
let's go.
Hey, that's what's up.
Hey.
Nah, we got
I
our
like
original.
looked this and I went to Denver and got like a call out like for it like there. Same thing with my Lions stuff. It was pretty cool.
Man, Kool-Aid, these are people that were on a show called this is like the OG squad right here.
Talk about it, bro. That's what
These are 313 report people. Kool-Aid,
That's what I was
what the
gonna
heck,
say.
man?
The originals, man. Like who really, really, really got everything started.
And Carl was one of the OGs in the comments, man. And so to have him up here is a full circle, wholesome like that.
Got
That's
the whole game
perfect.
back together.
It's cool to be here, guys.
Yeah, but
Sean, I'm about to send you something, bro, to pull up. I think this is gonna be a good one. I'm gonna pivot just a little bit because Lexi just got me thinking. King just got me thinking with the gears. She talked about being out of town, out of state, and I remember being in Alabama. We talked about on the Woodward Pistons podcast and how everybody was. I saw several Teal jerseys down there, man. I asked people if they understood what it was. It was like I just liked it.
Yeah,
it looked good. So,
well, I mean, I think a lot of kids, you know, with Grant Hill and stuff growing up, they just knew that Teal, you know, and so it's like people recognize that.
Yeah, like I said, if you're a person that wear a lot of stylish clothes, man, it's a dream. You know,
I know.
Absolutely.
Really saying stylish, you know, you tell those haters out there. That's really, really crazy.
You want me to send that by Twitter?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great.
All right, no, I got you.
So anyway, while he gets that pulled up real quick, I will say I went back and I watched Cade's first game that he scored 34, which was, if you recall, against the Denver Nuggets back in December. And then I watched the second game he got 34, which was at the end of the season against Brooklyn. And let me tell you, man, I truly forgot how different of a team that was from that point to March. Like the end of the year, like it is like I am never watching that team pre-February ever again. Because it's just not worth it.
No.
Yeah. It'd have been fun to see. It'd have been fun to see that team late in the season somehow sneak into the playoffs and just see what happened.
Yeah,
what kind of damage they could have done.
Test the waters.
Yeah, like I said, that just I always said discard the first half of that season, man. Like I said, we went through so many different things with injuries and COVID and all type of crazy stuff. You just might as well just disregard it, man.
Right. Yeah.
I see you got that up there. I'm about to bring that up on the screen, Sean. But shout out to Steve as well.
Yes.
He jumped on the table talk when we were talking about Benedict Mathurin around the draft coverage. Brought a lot of good basketball knowledge and talk and everything. Hey, shout out to him. He's a big supporter. He shares everything that we do. He supports everything that we do. He also does a lot for Detroit Bad Boys. So I just wanted to make sure shout out Steve.
Man,
but, all right.
Talk about someone who's gonna get the bag. He's gonna get the bag at some
one day.
Anyway,
one day. Hey, look, man. Shout out to people who know no matter where they are, they're putting on for Detroit, man. I know y'all see Ashton. What do y'all see?
You see that Lions hat?
I was about to say. I was
he's not just repping the Lions like in the merch. Like he's repping them on Twitter too. Like he's an avid, like him and Cade and like those guys, like they're from Arlington, so they're gonna be Cowboys fans. It's just the way it is. But like they're repping and are interested in the Lions too.
And not even just that, man. The connection with the Lions and Pistons have been amazing, man. You know, they've been doing a lot of things together, man. Like I said, even the support to Teal, Ford Field is gonna light up in Teal, man. That's dope.
I know. I'm so excited.
Hold on, talk about that, King.
Yeah, they put the pictures out, man. They're gonna do the stadiums, MG, what is it, Motor City Casino. But also
they did it the night that they released it, right?
The Teal, the entire Detroit skyline was Teal, man.
You know, like the connection with Troy Weaver and Brad Holmes, man. You know what I'm saying? And that those organizations coming together like that. Also with the Tigers, man. It's a dope thing.
Yeah, have you seen Troy Weaver and Brad Holmes in the same room at the same time?
Oh man, a couple of times already. A couple of times. Like I said, just going, I cover the Lions, so I go to training camp and I've seen it a couple of times.
I was about to say, how does this work? Because Steve Eiserman, have we seen him and Troy and Brad in the same room? I don't know how that works for them, but seriously, like these guys are on a whole different level right now. Al Avila.
I think that's when you get the Infinity Stones all together, that like you don't want to put them all like too close, because like there could be like a cataclysmic blast of some form.
And then there's the Tigers.
Avila's like the Soul Stone. You got to kill somebody just to get it.
Man, you got to kill somebody just to get him to do his damn job.
Wow, what a comparison!
Yes,
yeah,
so gorgeous.
So they had
like,
the
how
LCA.
can you just openly hate that? Like, how can you openly say
look at Ford Field?
Man, look at Comerica too.
Yeah,
like the lighting with like the outskirt of that.
Imagine if they all had teal
you
art.
can see it in the background.
Look at all the other buildings. It's not even just a sports stadium, just other buildings too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but Ford Field specifically, like you said, that looks incredible.
That's
hey,
awesome.
I'm just saying.
I need a teal Detroit Tigers jersey. I need that now.
Listen, if the Pistons and Lions ever want to do a collab, or the Lions wear teal jerseys and the Pistons get Honolulu blue alternates, I'm just saying.
Man.
I just want all to have teal alternates, so it just sends all these people into a frenzy, and they like.
Listen, I'm not telling y'all how to make money, but like if you want to send the royalty check, I'll send you my address. But anyway,
I'm looking forward to the day when we're watching the Pistons on ESPN or TNT, and we're coming back from a commercial, and we see that skyline.
Yeah,
that would be so fire.
Yeah, man. And not only that, but like it was like a real genuine, like people started to recognize, like not only when the teal like reveal happened, not only were people talking about, how great the teal looked and how awesome that it was back, and talked about like jersey throwbacks, but like that was like a point where people were like, man, the Pistons had a hell of an off season. And this was like just another thing to cap it off. Like it's like, and I even kind of tweeted, and I saw the Kings release like photos of Keegan Murray in a Kings uniform, and it just made me think, and this isn't a knock against Keegan Murray, but like King and Lexi, like, can you guys imagine?
I just saw Lexi,
Pistons did
kind of bit her bottom lip, like
I saw her nose flare. She was like,
yeah, it was almost like Will Smith, bro. Like,
if it was Keegan Murray, like they're in the teal, just there being like,
no, like here's the thing. I think that Keegan ended up where he should have been. And I think that, yes, I think overall Ivey is killing it in the teal over him. And I'll admit that. But, everything happened the way it was supposed to, Sean, okay?
Oh, for sure. Hey.
Yeah, no one ever said Keegan was excited.
Don't be hating on him.
This is my original, bro.
Oh my God, look at that throwback.
That's great jersey, seriously.
Oh,
nice.
Thank you. My guy. My goodness.
It's still got a little bit of horse left on there. It's a little bit of horse.
I like it.
Little pony. That's what
I like it.
Hey, we are also now joined.
My Little Pony.
Hey, Kool-Aid, we got a new guest on Table Talk, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Steve.
You want to introduce Steve to the people, my guy?
Hey, what's good, Steve? Say a few things, man.
Hey, what's up? I'm Steve. I'm from DetroitBadBoys.com. I mainly cover the Pistons. I'm the draft nut too. I started just breaking down 2023 NBA draft guys. I should have an article coming out in the next month about Piston specific lottery guys. I mean, there's a reason why Troy Weaver's not in a rush to like sign useful free agents. Why Marvin Bagley got the bag over other people. There's a lot of good wing talent in this. Is all I'll say. So a lot of good guys. Obviously, Wembanyama, I keep trying to get the hashtag lose for Victor going because he's going to be
go
good,
for
man.
Victor.
Oh,
go
yeah.
for Victor.
Yeah. Beast in the making, man.
Yeah,
For sure.
he's one of those guys that I watch play basketball, and like there's times like, I haven't felt truly terrified by seeing a prospect and thinking about what he could do in the league literally since Kevin Durant. Like for me, that was like the one where it was like I was like 10 years old and I was like, how in the world is this kid gonna not dominate? And like I watched Victor Wembanyama, and like obviously with that type of prospect, with that type of body, there's injury potential, there's bust potential. With anything, you don't really know what he's gonna do until he gets to the league. But like you look at the talent that he has, and like if he hits the potential that like he could, that like we're just reaching a different level. And like Steve, I'm sure you can like touch on this more of just like, I mean, obviously with like the era of positionless basketball with Chet, with a lot of these different guys, we're just seeing the evolution of prospects. We're just seeing a type of prospect that like is just getting more and more complete, it seems, each and every year. It's insane. And like Victor Wembanyama, like he's like the prime example of that. He has everything.
Have you guys seen just his sheer size? Have you guys seen the Olympic picture with him, Ivy, and Chet? Yeah. And as big as Chet is, he's dwarfing Chet. It's ridiculous.
He handles like a guard, and he shoots it like a guard. Like it's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows his real size, but everything starts at 7'2", and I've heard all the way to 7'4". So we'll see how tall he really is. So
right,
that's wild.
Wembanyama is like he's literally something I would make in my park to go dominate. Like he's a video game archetype of what you would make in a video game, but he's a real prospect,
man. Hey, what up, Jeff? Mr. Everything.
Yeah, what's good, bro?
Hi, Freddie.
What's up, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Is that Jeff Frate? Is that how you say it?
Come on, bro. you know, Sean has a way with like words and names. He says, "Hey, say Jeff Iafrady."
My boy Jeff Iafrady.
There you go.
My boy, or I go with, or if I ever want to point out that he's Italian, Jeff Iafrady. Like I'll go with something like that.
Like Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, look,
to me,
with as high as you guys are talking about him, man. Look, if I kind of agree with 3 and 3 locked, man. Like if he's supposed to be that type of a dominant prospect, almost unguardable, hey, send him west, bro. I don't want to deal with him. We are already sitting here talking about how do we plug some of these holes with Jamie Grant gone, and on the offensive side, I believe we definitely have enough. But on a defensive side, how do we guard the 6'9" and up wing fours, point forward, whatever you want to call those guys? We do not need to add another one of those guys to the East at all. Unless
there's a reason why San Antonio all of a sudden decided, hey, let's start tanking. So
yeah, can you imagine, by the way, if Greg Popovich was given that type of prospect? I mean, granted, we don't know how much longer he's going to be coaching, but like if in his final years he can help shape that type of prospect going forward for that franchise. But I mean, on the other hand, you have to consider that there's going to be teams like the Indiana Pacers as well that, you know, they went and they got really talented and they got a guy in Benedict Mathurin that Steve was on here talking about, you know, praising because he is such a dynamic player. That's going to be a guy we're going to have to deal with. If the Pacers can go and get a top draft piece to go add alongside those guys, I mean, like you said, that's the difficult thing. But I think what Detroit's done is I think they have given themselves the best chance to defend those types of players, because it's really, the answer is you need length at every part of the court. You need versatility and length that can switch on the perimeter, but you also need size and strength and length that can protect the paint. That's really the only way you're gonna. It's like you're not gonna stop Giannis, but you can make Giannis uncomfortable. You know what I mean? You can make his shot more difficult. That's really the only thing you can. That's like the type of defense that you really have to play in the modern NBA. It's like you're not gonna stop these guys, but you can contain them and make them less comfortable. If you can prevent them from at least getting to their spots, that's really all you can do.
That's the game plan and the hope. But Rod Beard actually was the one who had me kind of look at this a little bit different. Whereas Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Livers, for as hard as workers as those guys are, and the steps that we hope they take, the measurables just isn't there. So even though the length might have gotten a little bit better across the board, overall at those positions, they didn't add enough length or enough athleticism or enough speed. Now at the guard positions, yes. You know, at the 5 specifically, yes. But at the 3 and the 4, they didn't do that. And that's the area of concern here. Just from a basketball perspective, I agree with Rod in that perspective. That's going to be an area of concern. And we've seen them have struggles with guarding that in the past. That's why they drafted Stanley Johnson. They believed, hey, bigger body 3 or 4 can guard those bigger body wings. At that time, there were more of them. You know, PG, Carmelo, and other people were still kind of giving you some work. At this stage, those guys make you instantly an elite team, and if you cannot defend those guys, not as it relates to shutting them down, but at least having somebody who can play them honest, so that the rest of your young defensive team can actually learn their principles, learn to stay home, learn how people may scheme against what they believe is going to be their comfortable spots on the floor defensively and such. Like, that's the part of it that's going to be a little bit tough. Jeremy Grant was able to go out there and go one-on-one against people. Whether they hit 35 against him, it was not going to be an easy 35. It was a 35 that was within kind of that flow of that game that he could contain, and it wasn't going to juxtapose the Pistons into getting blown out. And so that's the only concern, and it makes it more fun going into next year. Especially, I'm glad that Steve is on, because I think that's the hole. I think that's the next plug. That 3 or that 4 that can defend, kind of play two ways. I believe that's the next hole for Troy Weaver.
Almost like a Keegan Murray type, kind of.
Now would be great.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with 4 than 3. Like I said, there are a few big threes that may be a problem, but 4 is more of a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of long and linky 4s out here, man.
That's why I feel like Bagley's kind of that there's almost like the pressure for him to like perform in that role day one, in my opinion. Of like, if there's a person to me that would be the most natural fit, if he can play that role well, it's Bagley. But it's going to come down to, is he going to be able to keep up defensively? Because there could be 4s that seemingly could just blow right by him, right? So that's going to be Mike. And also, as you need someone that in that position that can also somewhat consistently stretch the floor. Can Marvin Bagley do that? And the answer is, so far, not really. But I mean, he can take the shot if you need him to. He's just not the guy you want to take the shot. So
to be like, yeah, he can definitely shoot it.
It's like,
it's
there.
We always got step backs from Kelly Olynyk, so
Oh, that is the answer right there.
Yeah,
Kelly Olynyk is an interesting player.
Don't forget our MVP, Corey Joseph.
Listen, man. Corey Joseph is on the good side now. We don't have to do this to him no more.
Yeah,
right.
He's not starting next to Cade anymore. He's actually here for what we wanted him to come here for.
King, I'm gonna give it 10 games, and you're gonna find something new to complain about with Corey Joseph. I'm giving it 10 games. I'm telling you. Listen, that's not even including the pre. Like, I'm gonna give you the preseason
resolution,
to just be there and have fun and watch and go along. Like in the regular season, I'm telling you, 10 games.
Y'all got to
do that boy, Corey.
Y'all got to dig through the archives,
He's doing this.
I was on the Corey Joseph train. I was, until he starting next to Cade. Yeah. It's just that, man. You don't, like I said, I have no problem with Corey Joseph playing his position
and roll.
Hey, you should be mad at Killian. If anybody, it's Killian's fault.
Yeah. Damn it. Got this old guy on the. I'm sorry. Let me.
Sean, I can feel the blood pressure just slowly rising.
Just like, hey. This is understandable though, because there are like the defensive concerns are there. Like, that is the thing of, it's not going to be something that you want to be a long-term solution. And that's why I think you saw Isaiah Stewart playing minutes at the 4 in the summer league and taking that opportunities. Yeah. I think in the long term, they would love to see the Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren pairing that they were testing out in summer league. I think that's what they're building towards in as far as that goes. Now, for now, we're gonna have to just go through some growing pains, and even when we make that change, we're gonna be going through some growing pains then too, because for one, Isaiah Stewart's still learning how to play that position. He's still learning to stretch the floor and still improving on his shot. But in addition, where it's alongside the youngest player in the draft, a guy who reclassified to go to college. So he's still going to be really young, just going to be turning 19 when the season starts. So yeah, that's going to be an area of concern. And I don't think we're going to see, we might not see like really good play out of it for a little bit, but I think at the same time, if we get that tandem to work, and if we see the flashes of of what we think that duo can be, I think we might be less worried by the end of the season.
I agree with you on that. And something else that just came to mind. We made a big deal about the improvements that Beef Stew made, being able to switch out into the perimeter and being one of the higher rated big men to be able to switch out on the perimeter and guard and defend out there. Do we know how well he did or what positions he was put in to actually guard those threes and those fours on a consistent basis? Because I know he did decent, but he should have the mobility to match up now lengthwise. People like KD will be able to shoot over him, but I'll take that grit. You know, if they're talking about at least for this year during those growing pains, a combination of players being able to switch off and trying to get better this year, because I would love to see Stu be able to be a little bit different monster defensively, be able to be somebody who can go out there and legitimately strap up 1 through 5 if asked to. You know, obviously it's going to be a little difficult with some of the speedsters, but he's shown a knack to really be able to get out there, stay sound, to like true defensive principles. He's not really biting on too many pump fakes on the perimeter. I noticed he got to work on that in the paint, but for some reason he has that down out on the perimeter. I've noticed that.
Here's another thing. There's actually some analytics that show that Isaiah Stewart was actually a pretty good rim protector.
Yeah.
Specifically, there's some statistics that show that he was making making opponents' field goal percentage at the paint go down 10.9% from expected field goal percentage. So like he was actually making guys really uncomfortable when they were getting to the paint. So even though we talk about like, oh, he's not like the rim protector that like is the answer. Like he might not be your number one rim protector, but I mean, he's up there in the names of the likes of Gobert, Robert Williams, Jarrett Allen, Giannis, Porzingis, like Mitchell Robinson, like a lot of guys that people like praise their rim protecting abilities. Like it's a pretty good area to be in. So, you know, people say he can't rim protect. It's just not true.
You gotta also think about it, man. He didn't have any counterparts down there, you know, to help him whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So he's always needed some type of help down there, especially on, you know, those situations where the help side is just absent. So, you know, like I said, I think it'll be a lot better with some of the length and athleticism that we just added for Isaiah. Like you go back a couple of seasons back when we did get a short chance to see Isaiah play a little bit beside a big man in Plumlee, you know what I'm saying, his rookie season. Wasn't that much, but when he did, I just felt like Isaiah was in a better position. Even though Plumlee's not the greatest defensively, him just being out there alone, it just helped a lot, man, to me.
Yeah. I think that we spoke to Duren's potential, even though he's 19. I think long term, in an interview during Summer League, Isaiah Stewart actually said that he has never been asked or played full term or long term at the power forward position ever in his life. So him being able to stretch the floor, them asking him to do that, I think it really speaks to what they see long term in Jalen Duren, even though he's only 19.
Yeah, and that's where this is really going. I think, you know, Jalen Duren becomes this X factor. I said this on the pod, Woodward Pistons pod with Jeff, and we had Motor City Hoops, Bryce on. I stated when we drafted him, and I know Deuce clipped this today, actually, I think it posted it to the Woodward Pistons IG. When we drafted Duren, or when we were going through the breakdowns, we all kind of knew that there could be a little bit more beneath the surface. But I realistically thought, hey, we're getting a traditional rim running, kind of athletic, hyper, at times big. And then they started talking about Sean Kemp. And I'm like, wait, stop it. Y'all are silly. And then we start seeing, I know we don't want to get too caught up in the tapes and everything, but it's not like he's trying to learn how to do those things. It looks like he's practicing what he knows how to do. And clearly somebody in college was mismanaging the talent that he was. Because Troy Weaver, again, I'm going to keep saying this, keeps talking about the fist pumps that they did when they drafted Duren. And everything that Motor City Hoops, he says, you know, he's heard on a couple podcasts and a couple people he's talked to. You know, I'm sorry to the Keegan Murray fans on this panel. Oh, King, I'm sorry, brother. But they said that if Ivey was gone, he's heard some rumblings that it could have been. They like Duren so much they wouldn't have been shocked if it was him at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does. He's obviously going to be this kind of mysterious figure because to what you guys have all stated, the team defense, I believe, is going to be a little bit better. Even if they take a step back this year, I believe overall they have some players, even Ivy, who can help out on help side. You know, including Ivy. Like I don't know, man. I look forward to what this team is going to be able to grow into, and to see if they step up and take that challenge to say, you know what, despite what it looks like it should be, we're not going to get punked. We're not going to let the threes and the fours just come in here and just absolutely take us out. And I see Lexi, man, what do you got to say on this?
Yeah, I mean, I still, every time we talk about it, I can't believe that we got both Ivy and Duren. Like, it just seems just unreal, you know. And I knew that he is going to be like the X factor, where it's like still a lot of unknowns, but just what we've like heard and seen little bits, like it's just exciting, you know. I think they're going to all contribute. And I think that this season might be like a little better. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say we're gonna be, you know, winning it all or anything like that, but I think it's gonna be a lot surprising for a lot of people. But I'm ready for this season now. I need it here.
Do you think owners like throughout the league are just like looking at the draft boards each year afterwards and are just going like, who the let the Pistons do that? Like they're gonna walk away with both those guys?
2 years in a row, especially like with everything. Like,
oh man, that's just
yeah. It's like, hey, okay, we won't say no.
Yeah, they're probably not gonna be answering the phone when Troy calls going forward for quite some time.
Except for the fact that how can they not? He's putting himself in position to have to get that call. Look, bro, when you dress yourself up right, you're gonna get the looks. It's like the mention. Oh, look at the girl in the red dress. What? You're gonna look every time, and Troy has done that. He has these draft players coming in saying, these draft picks coming in saying, "Yo, I want Detroit." He has GMs picking up the phone even though they shouldn't. You know, they really shouldn't. Bad Knicks. But, hey, they wanted Jalen Brunson so bad. He cleared out all of that sexy cap space. It looked too good. What are you going to do? You got to play ball. Right. We got the draft pick just because they wanted Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. And even now, we're still in position to facilitate a 3-team trade if necessary. So he's always keeping the Pistons flexible.
And then, according to reports, or just reportedly looking at who's going to have cap space next offseason, the Pistons are among 4 teams. They're going to have, count it, $60 million in cap space.
2024 champs calling it now.
Man, I'm just saying, it's like we're gonna be like 5 years from now. It's gonna feel like an alternate universe, but it's gonna be like the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Detroit Pistons in the NBA Finals.
We're gonna be too belligerent, bro. It's gonna be so crazy when the Pistons are actually good.
Yeah, like, that or it's gonna be a Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey Finals. It's gonna be.
No, that's my guy. I already said it. Whoever the Pistons draft, that's my ultimate. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You catch me. I'll still be supporting Keegan. I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing too.
The joke of that was that the Kings were going to the finals. That was the comedy in it.
So I'm out here trying to pick fights with Kings.
I know you're about to just set it off again all over.
Wait,
the Kings have fans? There's Kings fans.
Right, I know. That's what I said.
We got a couple.
But look,
sprinkled.
I had this question here because I know that a lot of people, they love the Jalen Duren tapes, and I do believe that there's a difference between what Jalen Duren is putting on tape in the practice footage and what Killian Hayes is putting on tape as well in the practice footage versus what these guys also showed in their brief stints. And this is not about Summer League at all. This is about what do we take from their practice tapes. You know, we see Killian working on different things. You know, people talked about, hey, looks like he's working on his right hand. It looks like he's working on finishing stronger and these things. And that's what you want to see him working on. What's good, bro?
Nothing is the answer. You take almost nothing from it because, listen, man.
Remember Andre Drummond?
Thank you, King.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Andre Drummond?
How many? And listen, we're not comparing him to Andre Drummond. But how many
shooting threes?
First of all, here let's have an honest conversation about this practice footage, people. Because I just want to let's just peel back one layer because this is something that like people don't realize. It seems to me.
Here's the onion, bro.
Who's the person controlling the footage that you're seeing?
Their trainer.
Oh, I don't know. the person that you're watching take the shot.
Yeah.
Because it's their phone. Like someone's recording it and it's edited and they pick the best footage and not the shots that they miss.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See,
man.
I would just say, go ahead, Deuce.
Go ahead, King.
No, I would say just take the thought of them working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of lollygagging and screwing around and in hot tub jacuzzis with Kevin, you know, I'm not even gonna go there with the Houston Rockets. At least they're working. You know what I'm saying? We got a Sadiq Bey that, you know, went up in the mountains and, you know, increased his air intake. You know what I'm saying? At least, like I said, Killian's in Florida. He's in Florida right now. He's putting in some work with some of the
I wish I forgot about it.
Lexi.
Like I said, just take that from it, man. They're working. They're putting some work in. They're trying to improve their game. But it's a total different thing out there on the court, man.
Yep. And what I was gonna say with these
That's
videos,
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead, Deuce.
I was just gonna say with Killian specifically, I need to see them on the NBA court.
Yeah.
Like we saw him last year in the offseason working. He's a worker. We know he's gonna work. But for him, it's more so about mentality. How is he responding mentally? How many times have we seen Killian Hayes get an offensive foul? Right? Like, that's not a good thing, obviously, but it's just from an aggressive standpoint. We need to see that aggression. We need to see that fire. So the tapes are great as far as offseason, but we know the skill is there. I want to see the mentality change on the NBA court consistently. When I see that, that's when I'll be excited about Killian.
I mean, what player was the most popular as far as their playback footage or practice footage over the last few years? Ben Simmons. I mean, like literally, he was posting practice footage of him taking jump shots all around the gym, but it didn't matter because when he came to Philly and when he came back, he didn't take the shot. He wouldn't even take a layup when it mattered.
Edit like 5 makes into a video for him. Tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's just one of those things where, you know, like, and again with Duren, it's like you're glad to see he's in the gym. You're glad to see, like, you know, you can look at him taking threes and go, oh, the foundation of his form isn't bad, but like you can't go, oh, well, I'm gonna expect that in game now. It's like, no, there's gonna be a little bit of time before, you know, that's even a thing. And even then, I don't see Jalen Duren taking a 3 in our offense for a few years unless the shot clock's winding down.
Yeah, and even with that, you know, you got to look at it with, we've seen Isaiah Stewart do the same thing at a gym. But even though we've seen, you know, some shots fall in summer league, we still want to see it in the game. You know what I'm saying?
And we saw it at the end of the year, but we want to see it in more substantial NBA basketball,
more
like
higher
when you're trying to
volumes,
compete more.
More volume.
Yeah, Beast 2 has earned the opportunity to shoot those outside of at the end of shot clocks because he at least shows some proficiency at the end of the season. Show that he's not, and this is what I mean on the tapes. When we looked at Drummond, and that's why I still have this on, he was trying to learn how to shoot threes. He wasn't showing and working on things that he already can do. Like Beast 2 could shoot that. He had some aspect of a proficiency for it. So when you see him working on those things, you're okay with it. And that's the difference this year with Killian Hayes. There were years before where we actually saw in his practice footage, he's practicing that step back, like 3 steps, like that hardened step back 3. And we're like, bro, stop. Can you shoot with just your 2 feet down on the floor, catching the ball from a standstill? That catch and shoot. Those are the things that I like. I like seeing him actually practicing to go aggressively to the rack. And you said it best, Deuce. Like, yeah, you know, it can have sometimes a negative connotation, but, you know, with the offensive foul. But there were certain offensive fouls that Shaq took because he knew, hey, this is going to put my stamp on the game. And what if Killian did go to the game and just pushed people over? Like, hey, have y'all seen the movie Kicking and Screaming? When Will Ferrell was drinking like the cappuccinos and he got so crazy that he actually ran out onto the field and was just absolutely just pushing kids over. I'm talking about grabbing the cones and yelling at them and such. Like, loser, like, I want Killian to be that. Go out there and just, I don't care if you get 2 offensive fouls. Go out there and just absolutely prove that this year, from a mentality standpoint, is different.
Exactly.
Like, I'm glad to see him working on the things he should be. Like, I'm glad his workouts are changing. And that Duren is working on things that they're stating prior, that Troy and these guys like, yo, we saw him do this, do this, do this. We see him, at least in his practice footage, putting that on tape. He's not working on learning it. We could tell it is who they are.
I want Killian versus OKC at the end of the season. I want that every game. I want that going to the basket, attacking the basket, looking for the foul. Even though they didn't give you the fouls that game, you still attack the basket. I need that Killian every game because you still did two things. You still rebounded the ball. You still made plays for other teammates. Because Isaiah Livers, he had like 20 points that game, and most of those assists came from Killian. Yeah. So, like I said, with him attacking the basket that way, doing everything that he already does well, like I said, it's literally just this. It's just the mentality to go and kill your opponent.
I think it's like if he comes in and is that guy who pushes the pace coming off the bench, and it's like how specifically the best units are the ones that have an identity on the defensive end, or have an identity, know what they're known for. It's like the fourth liners back in the day, like the grind line, having that type of unit come off the bench led by Killian's pressure and Killian's aggressiveness and his playmaking and his vision. If he can come off the bench and have that type of identity with that second unit, that's the thing that can push us to the next level. So, yeah, man, there's a ton of value for that. And like you said, it's you're just glad to see him working, but and with Killian, it's never been the question of him putting in the work in the gym. Right. It's just showing that mindset on the court. That's all it is. And that's always what it's going to be with Killian.
Yeah, because his flashes haven't been lucky flashes. Killian's put together full games where we can see he's strong, he's fast, he's gone in and dunked on people. We're like, what? He's gone in. Remember, I think it was a rebound that came off wrong. The other team was already trying to go back. He wound up getting the ball and two-hand dunk.
Yeah.
I know, if you were, all of us probably remember that play. He did that a couple times. Yeah. And I didn't know he could do that. I was like, oh, right. And so then you start to realize, like we all do sometimes when you first stepping out on that 5-on-5 court as a young boy.
Yeah.
As a young tyke or as a new person, it's a certain mentality. And I see, I don't know, man. The team seems to play better when he's on the floor, but they need him to be a little bit more for this team. Like Sean said, these three players we brought up, Beef Stew, Jalen Duren, and Killian Hayes, are three people who I believe, even more so than what Jaden Ivey's going to bring to the table, three people who can help us really, really, really get to that next level. We assume Sadiq Bey, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey are gonna be what we expect them to be. But those three guys there, even more so than Bagley, because I believe Jalen Duren presents some things defensively to complement what Bagley brings offensively. The lineups and things of that nature, you need Beef Stew, Duren, and Killian to really, really, really be in their bag this year. I don't mean being superstars or anything of that nature, but just being reliable, being a good catch and shoot. Yeah, catch and shoot, aggressiveness for all of these guys, for all of them. Aggressiveness is going to be the name of the game, because all three of those guys are good. Are going to be counted on to be decent rebounders, including Killian Hayes. In the position that Beef Stew may find himself in with having the ball up top, he, just like Duren and just like Killian Hayes already know, they're going to have to also be somewhat playmakers, no matter if we're looking at them as threes or fours or anything of that nature. And I believe if these guys take that step, I believe that the Pistons have a good chance to be a play-in team. And that's where I want to kind of take the conversation next. What do the Pistons need to do to be firmly a play-in team?
Stay healthy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's just consistency. I think it's just
consistently being healthy.
Yeah, I mean, consistently being healthy, but also I think a lot of times something that you saw with the Pistons last year was they would have quarters where they would come out and play great, and then they would have quarters where they look absolutely dead. So some of that as a young team is understanding that you need to come out with that same energy all four quarters each and every night. This is the NBA. If you slip up for even a minute, a game you can lose control of a game. So that's just something that, as the team, evolved and got better as the year went on and got healthy and got to play together more consistently, it was less of a problem. But I mean, in addition, I just think, if they can come out and set the tone and play with consistent energy out the gate, I think it's something that's going to help them a ton. Also, what up, though? My boy Spenmo Rex.
Let's go.
Yo.
Shout out to the heavyweights.
If I
Hey,
can
it looks like
like
everybody wants to pitch in to get King Kojo jersey, a Teal one.
Why don't you buy a spit? Buy a spit. Why
I
don't
love
you
our
buy a
fans.
spit? Oh God! I'm gonna get a Teal Joseph jersey.
Yeah,
I am.
you gotta wear opening night.
Wait. Wrong. That's not the comment. There it goes. Okay.
Yeah,
You got to get that Kojo
man.
mojo going, man.
No, I just wanted to say, man, one of the reason why I say they need to be healthy. After the All-Star break, we had an opportunity to actually see most of the starters out there and see the veterans we had out there. They played well. You know what I'm saying? They played well. Even though it may not have been the most consistent, I would say them being healthy alone and having the time to grow together is the biggest key for their success this season. They need to be on the floor together. They need to learn each other's habits. They need to figure things out. With a young team like this, with a bunch of 10-year-olds, man, you got to have reps. You know what I'm saying? You got to go out there. You got to play. You got to be together. You got to learn each other's habits. You got to learn from their mistakes. Dwayne Casey's made it clear plenty of times that he doesn't care about the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? He just wants these guys to go out there and get after it, man, especially on the defensive end of the floor. I spoke on this earlier on, the Woodward Heavyweight. Shout out to Woodward Heavyweights. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Yeah. But I spoke about this earlier. Their defense first. You know what I'm saying? Their defense first. The Dwayne Casey, Troy Weaver are trying to build the Pistons. So their defense first. And that's why I said, bringing in Ivey, the first thing they said to Ivey, hey, we need you to be better on the defensive end. Everything else is going to take care of itself. They know that once these guys get those reps and they get that playing time together, and once they get that chance to glue and gel, everything's going to fall in place. You know what I'm saying? We're still in an early state with this rebuild, so I think they'll be just fine. My God.
We're going to have to dedicate one of these table talks to just Isaiah Livers.
Yeah.
I think we're going to, because look, there's a lot of expectation on him. I don't know if it's right or if it's wrong, but there's a lot of expectation from him. And part of that is from me too. I'm just sitting here like, yo, I keep saying I can't wait to see what he's going to do, just so I temper that all my expectation, because I believe he's going to come out and have a very impactful season. One of those Michigan players from out of nowhere, like, why is he doing this? Because he is type seasons.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to
I will die on the hill that if Livers was healthy, Michigan would easily be able to be in the national championship and compete with Baylor.
Talk your stuff.
I mean,
Forgot
I'll
he got
say
hurt.
and you
Forgot that he got hurt.
and nothing, but like if Isaiah Livers was healthy, we would compete with Baylor.
Plug your show. Plug everything that you got going on. I just thought about that.
Oh,
Plug it all.
plug that pie.
Yeah, for
Plug
sure.
that pie. Plug that
So,
pie.
Do
I have a
everything.
podcast on Stadium Boulevard with Lexi. It's presented by Blue by 90. A group of guys, have a really good building up a site over the last few years and a brand. And Ant Wright, who played Michigan basketball back like 07, 08 years, started this network, Full Ride Network, and he's got a bunch of different sites. It's all going to be college recruiting, in-depth college knowledge. I think there's like 9 schools right now. He's even pulling some from ACC and SEC. So it's gonna be huge. So it's my little, I love Michigan. I'll be talking Big Ten, all college athletics really, but it's gonna be big. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Second episode out tomorrow at noon. So pay attention for that.
Whole
Okay.
squad,
For you,
bro.
Lexi. This has been cooking for a
Wow.
little while. So the
Let's go.
fact that this is finally here and
Yes.
Yeah,
I just want to
absolutely.
support guys, honestly, because it's just you got to have the support to get where you're at, and to have
Absolutely.
opportunities and stuff. So I just always appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Definitely glad that you're part of the crew. King, I gotta ask you, bro. What do you think of this comment?
I got it on the screen too for Kool-Aid as well.
Oh,
hey, do your thing, James. That's why. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
it's a reason why you're not head coach. That's all.
So, yeah, be sure
Two different positions don't even make sense. That's just yeah.
go listen for that thick Midwestern accent.
Yeah.
You guys hear it every day, every Thursday on here too. I'm telling you, that episode though, like directly, I was just like, why do I hear it so much? And it's now that
What's that all about?
Right now. Well, everyone always says, especially like East Coast, West Coast, like, wow, it's so thick, and I just never understood it.
Yeah.
Dog, man, I love our crew. I do,
Me
Steve.
too.
I want to get you involved as well in this conversation, man, with the play-in. You know, what are you seeing, man? I know it's your mind. It works a little bit different than mine. I'm probably gonna always trend a little more Kool-Aid for some reason. You look at the game different, bro. What are you seeing as it relates to this play-in, bro? What needs to happen, and is it going to happen?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, what is
Biggie
Steve's
froze.
take?
Connection.
Man, the
you're
connection.
muted, bro. You have
You're on
to
mute still.
Yeah, you're on mute. I think he's behind.
yeah, it's like really laggy.
Yeah,
It's
he
been
gotta
lagging.
be
She
live.
got kicked off a few minutes back.
He shot like less than from deep. Burks comes in, though he shot.
no, Steve, bro. I know he's preaching too.
I know.
I know. Hold on, Steve. Hold on.
Log out and come back
Log
in.
back out and come
Yeah.
back in, bro. Because his
Yeah.
mind is
And restart
awesome.
that.
And for everybody that's listening, hopefully none of you guys on the road, man, but be careful out there. We got a dangerous one right now going on. This thunderstorm is
Yeah, my stuff's flickering here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna be like maybe like 10 more minutes. I'll be on here and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. You know.
Yeah, it's pouring. It's
All right,
pouring.
look, man, we'll see if we can get Steve to log back out and log back in. But seriously, what do you guys think needs to happen, and is it going to happen for the Pistons to make this play-in tournament? I agree with you all as it relates to what the Pistons put on record last year with Cade Cunningham healthy and this team healthy, and the teams they weren't trying to tank. Yeah, bro, this team was about 500, and they weren't just beating up on bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
They were beating up on teams that were jockeying for playoff position, like the Boston Celtics and such. So, look, I feel like we should have the expectation of playing. I do believe that it rests on Killian, what Killian, Duren, and Beef Stew bring to the table. That's two of the players that were drafted in Troy's first year, and one of them is this guy that presents. I believe the most dynamic defensive big that we have on the roster, and that's Jalen Duren to me. I think that Beef Stew, arguably, at least for what he's put on paper right now, we have to say he is that guy. But I believe if Jalen Duren takes that step forward, like King mentioned earlier, it can complement what Beef Stew is doing defensively on the perimeter and what Sean stated that Beef Stew is doing in the paint. Then I believe this team is going to be something nice with what Cade and Sadiq have already shown to do and what I believe Ivey's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, do we got you back?
Steve.
So the storm is whipping through here.
See, we're gonna have him on a
Yeah.
special live stream, bro, where he just let him just
Yeah.
This team. I know.
We're starting out.
It's not gonna work, bro.
Yeah.
He's trying so hard
Come
to
on, man.
understand what he's. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do something to get his take. At least if we can get an article or something, bro. We'll definitely make sure we tweet it out and everything. But yeah, I'm seeing what I'm seeing, man. It all rides through all rides.
Sounded like
okay.
T-Pain going through a wood chipper.
Oh man, take that T-Pain off.
Man, he's like,
Take that T-Pain off. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
No,
it No, I totally agree with the foul situation. Like I said, they got to give Cade some type of respect this season. That was atrocious last season.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be interested to see what type of respect they give Jaden Ivey because he's literally attacked the basket.
Yep.
So that's gonna be interesting to watch too.
Mhm.
Yep, I've written an article on it with the free throw rate with Ivy, and it did for the little bit that he played in summer league. It translated like his style of game, his style of basketball. They had to blow the whistle, and if this is obviously the if, but if it does translate to the NBA, he's going to instantly be the Pistons' probably leading free throw getter if they don't respect Cade. Cade should be the guy, depending on how the Pistons play. I know based on how they played last year, I believe he should have been firmly second. I believe Jeremy Grant was number one with 5.5 attempts a game, and Sadiq and Cade combined, I don't even think they barely came up to like I think 5.6 combined a game or maybe less. That's terrible, man. I mean, 16.3% of the time, field goal attempts was Cade Cunningham getting a free throw. To just put that in perspective, in college, Jaden Ivey was getting a free throw almost every other field goal attempt.
Crazy.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That like we said, he's gonna get bulked up and get stronger, and we realize Cade is the type of guy who knows it's BS that you guys are telling me I have to get stronger. If I'm getting fouled, I'm getting fouled. But I'm gonna work to take away every single excuse that y'all can bring to the table until y'all give me the whistle.
You know who did that? That other guy that he's always compared to. Michael Jordan. Say, hey, I'm just gonna go get in the gym and get stronger, and I'm gonna make you respect me.
Yep.
And he said, and I took that personally.
Yep. That's gonna be Cade's gonna have that like same type of interview like at some point.
Well, he kind of does. Like when you hear him in the interviews when he talks about it, it's like no one's gonna feel sorry for you if you're losing games. Like it's like at the end of the day, like we just got to go out there and earn that respect, and he understands it. And even I went back and watched recently some of his clips from the All-Star Showcase, the Rising Stars Challenge, and like he was even out there like that team was running actual sets, like they were playing actual defense. He was like playing intent, like Cade, like there were talks before the draft. And I remember laughing at them about like people questioning. Like I remember Stephen A. Smith even said like he questioned like his passion or like if he was always working as hard at certain points of the game. And it's like, dude, literally the first thing he did in a Pistons uniform was dive for a loose ball.
Exactly.
Like that's who Cade is. Yep. Like it's just become increasingly apparent when people aren't watching because it shows.
Because when you watch, Cade gives you that effect of that meme, like bro, like it made me smile. Like it's nice. Like I'm happy because Cade Cunningham playing freaking basketball, bro. And if you are a fan of basketball and you're not clued into Cade Cunningham, it's like shame on you. Straight up, just shame on you because the way that this guy attacks the game, approaches preparation. It's what makes him who he is. And as Detroiters, if there's anybody here not clued in, which that's not a thing, then hey, bro, get clued in ASAP. He's exactly what we represent. He's exactly the style.
He was meant for Detroit, and I just like love saying that because it's true.
And he's not just saying stuff. He's not just coming here and being a role player. He's not just coming. Nah, you know what I love? You know what I love about Cade is that we all know Cade is that guy. But he's let this summer be about Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey.
Yep.
He's a leader. He's a leader, and he wants what's best for this franchise and this, and this team. So it's
what's crazy.
God bless with a better #1 pick.
What's crazy is that we haven't had a guy like that in so long.
Yes.
Like it almost doesn't even feel right. Like
it's too good to be true. Almost. You're like, oh God, what's gonna?
But Cade's the kind of dude that's gonna remind everybody once the season starts. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I love about Cade too. Is it may sound weird, but I love that we don't see him so present on social media.
I love it. No,
because why? While
I know it always stays that way.
They're putting in so much. Absolutely. We see a lot of guys, and not throwing no shade. We see a lot of guys who are all over social media. You got a lot of content to post. Whenever Cade goes live, you're like, wait, Cade's live? Huh? because you're not used to seeing it happen because he's so focused on his work and he's not worried about those things right now. So I love the fact that he's so key.
And all those people like talking crap, like, oh, you didn't have any followers. It's like, yeah, 'cause he's too busy on the court. Like, it's like a flex.
When he is live, it's for the important things. Like how he only goes to the Waffle House with the do-rags. Like that's the only one.
Or the what's the other? Oh no! How do we get him out? How do we get him out? That's the classic.
Hey, Sean with the Dewey.
Yeah, with the Dewey. Yeah, with the Dewey. Oh man, I just remember like honestly, man,
Cade.
like Ashton's streams and like Cade's lives. Like anytime those guys go live, it is comedy, man.
Yeah,
like, it is worth. Like I got the notification on deck, and I always am sure to tune in.
That was a really long storms rolling through here right now.
Yeah.
It just was a really long.
Yeah, everybody be careful, like King mentioned.
Everybody, man. I know we're gonna get wrapped
Crazy
up soon, but I don't know. I sometimes I sit here and I talk about Cade Cunningham, and I'm like, yo, are we being homers? Am I really drinking the Kool-Aid? But when you go and you look at the numbers of not just him as a rookie, but just like, yo, how was he double teamed? What were his numbers in the clutch? You know what I'm saying? When you look at just his numbers overall in the NBA, not just amongst rookies, when you look at him as rookies, you realize, oh, he led them in a lot of different stats and categories. And his team, for the most part, was either injured or trash or kind of okay. It just depending on what parts of the season. He didn't have too much talent around him. He still put up in the 20 games after the All-Star break, 21, 7-6. Guys, 21, 7-6. And he was going toe-to-toe with stars, and they were stating, hey, we just want to let y'all know he is that deal.
Yep.
So I don't believe we're drinking the Kool-Aid. I do believe we have to talk about Cade. Like, dog, they're sitting here right now talking about LaMelo Ball potentially getting the Supermax, like a rookie max deal.
Hey,
Like, did you guys see that report?
hey, listen.
So
hey,
why can't – come on now.
finish.
Cade?
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
No, like I said, you didn't even have to. You don't even got to question if it's Kool-Aid or not, because, like I say, the stats are the stats. You know what I'm saying? The stats, they support what you already know. But what you see with these while he's out there on the court is all the confirmation that you need.
Exactly. He plays like he's a veteran.
Yeah,
Like he
if
plays
you
like
watch
he's
games, you watch his demeanor, you watch his attitude, you watch what he does to support winning type of basketball. You don't need no more.
And you watch what he does on the defensive side of the ball too, not just the offensive side of the ball, which is something that really goes over people's heads too often.
Well, the big thing is Lexi said it. He played like a veteran last. Like, how often do you see a rookie playing like a veteran? Especially,
and just keeping his cool in so many situations, especially with just how terrible we were, and just keeping his head up and just never wavering. And it's just like they're so happy that's
how many rookies play the game, like they play the game at their own pace. They don't let anyone dictate.
Exactly.
Very true.
I was just about to say, like he's not the fastest player, but once he learned how to control the speed and dictate his tempo on the NBA level, that's when it's a wrap. Because and that's when it was a wrap, because that's when he was able to play at a different speed than everyone else, because once you can slow down that defense and once you can dictate that tempo, then you can play ahead of them and you can be a couple steps ahead. And that's what we saw with a lot of times. Like, again, I watched that Brooklyn game and like he scored 27 of his 34 in the second half, but like he was doing a lot in the first half. It's just, he was dictating and he was controlling the offense. He had 6 assists in the first quarter. Like the guy was like, that's the thing about Cade, man. When he's at his best, not only can he go get his, but he can control the rest of the flow and create incredibly easy opportunities for the guys around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and at times, right. We covered this on the Woodward Pistons podcast as well as the Table Talk. Cade mentally is just different from a basketball IQ standpoint. Yeah. And the way that he can slow the game down himself. It's not
he's
that
the maestro.
It's the way that he just slows it down. This has nothing to do about I keep thinking, like, is he slow or is he not slow? In basketball, if you can get to your spots and the other defenders cannot stop you, then you're not a slow individual. You're just not, and it's he might not be a speedster like Ivey, But the things that we see Cade doing and the way that he can have the ball on a rope, I believe that Cade's handles are supremely underrated.
Oh, for sure.
I don't believe that people talk about his handles enough at all.
Mhm.
He got that ball on a tight rope, man. And the ways that he's able to shift and move the defenders and play their momentum against themselves. Look at, I know, Sean, you were just watching it. Your face looks like, bro, you were just watching all types of dirty stuff, man. How was it watching that Cade filth?
It was
Like the mid-ranges. How open does his crossovers get him? That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's insane, man. And like, it's not just that, but like, it's his crossover that gets him open in the mid-range. But then it's how, and like, again, I know I talked about this so many times, but guys, like, he's so good at using his body and using his frame to keep distance, like whether it's his hip, whether it's his elbow, like he can just create and just keep separation to the point where like either it's causing guys to not be in a position to block the shot or causing guys to get in foul trouble. Yeah.
What else, C. Perry? He wanted the regulars too, man.
Yeah, it's it's more like Cade Cunningham sometimes, man.
Wow.
No, you didn't.
That's a new
Yeah,
one.
you
I
did.
never heard that one, man.
Kidding. I'm
No.
I hope we never do again either, Carl.
kidding. Don't say that again. No,
My virgin ears.
No,
Oh,
but
man.
in all seriousness, man, Cade's that deal. He's special. And
Hey,
man.
Are the 2004 Pistons that deal, that best deal ever, man? Look, Kendrick Perkins,
Man.
he has some nice things to say about them. He said that the Pistons were arguably the best defensive team of all time, and he stated that they would beat any team in NBA history in a 7-game series.
Well, I don't know about that.
Listen, man, I love when we get support from national media.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So rare.
it doesn't feel the greatest when it's from Kendrick Perkins sometimes, but like, hey, we'll take it. But but I mean the Pistons team, it's tricky, and that's when it comes down to they could beat anyone in any era, and that's when it comes down to the semantics of like, all right, well, what era are we actually playing in? Because that's the thing. Basketball is far too much of a game that's different in eras. Like
Kobe and Shaq are the greatest duo to ever play the game together, though, and that was like not even. That was like in there, like. Yeah.
This is high school basketball today compared to back then. You can't defend people in this league today. You can't do that.
Hand checking is just different, man. Like you just can't stop guys the way you used to.
Yeah, those Pistons were the last time really though that you could play that type of defense. That era ended shortly after that, and then you got all the like slaps, slap on the wrist. It's like a foul line instantly. It's like you couldn't do that anymore.
Well, they broke the game. If you think about it, you look at it like you look at the game of basketball. Like it used to be like on the regular teams are scoring 90, 100 points, but like there was that stretch where a team couldn't even get to 70, and it was because of the way that they realized they could defend.
These kids go off, and it's like, oh, like they barely scored. It's like yes, because defense was played, and it was like played by everybody on the floor.
Well, it was played in such a way that it literally the way that they evolved defensively and like the way that they were able to exploit it. It was literally to the point where it was like, what the hell's going on? Teams can't score anymore. There's no fast break offense. It just wasn't a thing back then.
You literally had a team that played defense literally 1 through 10. Not 1 through 5, 1 through 10.
Thank you.
Yep.
You had Lindsey Hunter and Mike James coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You had Rasheed and Ben. You had Tayshaun taking whoever the best player was on your team.
I miss those days so much.
Torture.
Well, look. When we talked about
it on the head.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Deuce.
I was gonna say King hit it on the head. I won't say they could definitively beat any team ever, but they have a shot because 48
They'll give it all they got.
You're going to get tough defense 48 minutes long because they can go 10 deep. So you've got Mike James, you've got Lindsey Hunter, you've got Curtis Williamson giving you buckets off the bench, you've got Mehmet Okur giving you buckets off the bench, you got Eldon Campbell guarding whoever big they have, like he did with Shaq again on 4. So you can go 10 deep. Yep. Absolutely. And also they had Darvin Ham.
Don't you forget about Mehmet Okur, the force off the bench.
Mehmet Okur.
The man,
Darvin Ham.
The Mehmet.
You have Darvin Ham who can come in in spots and give you great defense. You know what I mean? So they could go, yeah. So they could go
has an NBA team ever been that stacked defensively? Like, I swear to God, that deep.
Defensively and offensively. When we went through this topic on the Woodward Pistons podcast, it utterly shocked me to look at the top 10 stats all time for Pistons players. So looking at the points per game, the steals, bro, 6 players from the 2004 Pistons are in the top 10 in playoff steals. Lindsey Hunter shows up in like 3 or 4 categories of top 10.
Crazy.
Lindsey Hunter was doing work, bro. He was doing work. This team was so stacked, and that's what gets me thinking. We keep thinking about, man, you know, the era, how they're able to defend, they scored low points, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, they could play offense 1 through 10 and defense 1 through 10. Dog. They could just wrap up, like, and just go out there, hey, look, I got my man, you got yours? Of course you got yours. Like, that's what that team was. And then when they got to the finals, their defense changed. When they got to the finals, the type of defense they played in that finals is the type of defense that'll get them here. And the type of offense they played was one that got them what? Winning by 30 and 40 points, scoring north of 110, 120 points per game.
It was always so unselfish.
Think about
That's why they did so well on offense, because there wasn't a star. They were all just gritty, going to work guys, you know. And
I'm so glad you said that, Lexi, because outside of Rasheed, none of those guys in the starting lineup had ever been to an All-Star game until after they won the championship.
Yeah.
So that just tells you how unpredictable they were. And then they got
honored. I get goosebumps just talking about this.
By the way,
I can't wait to experience it again.
By the way, all those shots that Chauncey and Richard Hamilton got wide open for, who was the guy setting those hard screens? Ben Wallace, a guy who people have said, people at our network have said was one of the worst offensive players in NBA history. Who was setting those screens? Who was helping getting those guys
creating
open?
offense?
Who was getting those offensive boards? Who was out there putting in that work and getting the nitty gritty so that we could be in the position to get those points?
You know, I want to compare beef.
That's whack that somebody even said that. I ain't gonna ask who it is because
you know who it is.
We don't gotta. We're gonna protect them.
Hey,
brother, the amount of times I've seen that thing from front to back is disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. I love the comments though. I'm looking at what Charles said, that Pistons Pacers series was a thing of defensive beauty. I feel like whoever came out of the East that year, whether it was the Pistons, whether it was the Pacers, whether it was the Nets, any 3 of those teams would have beaten the Lakers in the finals because they all play with that same defensive intensity. And so when the Pistons got to the finals, it was like, oh, this is easy.
I feel like the Pacers had it because offensively they had more firepower. The Nets, they fell short in the firepower department. Jason Kidd could get you 25 one night, and then that was just it. You know, he will get you your assists, but I didn't think offensively they had enough punch. But I do agree with your overall premise. Yeah. I don't want to.
I don't know, bro.
One thing with the Pistons were a team too, also that understood what to do against certain teams. You let Shaq go ahead and get what he want to get. Nobody else is going to be relevant in this series. You know what I'm saying? Especially you brung all these old guys like it's just a free ride to the finals, and you know what I'm saying? Listen, those guys are going to be non-existent. Let Shaq go ahead and do what he do. We're going to leave Ben on a one-on-one. Hey, if he scored 30, 35, fine. Everybody else, no.
Yeah, and to that point, a lot of people say, he scored 35. He scored 35. It's like, it's the fact that he's scoring those 35 on a lot less efficiency. They've now broken down their entire game plan just for him to wear out Ben Wallace's the soles of his shoes.
Yeah.
How overpounding the ball and then throwing it out to Kobe to shoot at the end of shot clocks. If that's the game plan and that's how he's getting his 30 and that's how Kobe's getting his 30, then the Lakers are going to have, what were we seeing? Like 89 points in games. That's what was happening. And that's thing offensively is where, man, I think we underrate this 2014. Now that I think about it, their firepower was awesome. They beat the Pacers and the Nets, y'all. Think about this.
They matched you. What the Pistons did, they whatever type of team you were, they were going to beat you at your game. That's what they did. You know what I'm saying? They were defense first. They were.
There wasn't a more connected
first.
unit in the
Yes.
entire league. There wasn't a more together unit that was more selfless, and that's ultimately, you know, when people talk
Selfless.
about like what's gonna like what you look at in a championship team, like that's the like when you look at champions, they defined that as far as playing together, and that's perhaps what they are. Like they're the best championship team ever, in the sense that they were truly just a unit that truly couldn't have worked if you remove one piece from that team, it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Right. That's,
It just
why
That's why I believe had we, and Sean, you hit on the head, team 1 to 10. I believe had we kept that team together, we would have won back to back. Because we lost to the San Antonio Spurs in 2005, in my opinion, because of lack of depth.
Yeah,
We
don't
lost
even.
Okor. We lost Corliss Williamson. We lost Mike James. We had McDice, but we went 7 deep that year. We had McDice and Hunter off the bench.
It wasn't
And that
the
was it.
same
It
team.
still
Yeah,
took
you're
him
right.
7 games.
Squad, man.
That
It was the
04
same
team
team.
was one, bro. Corliss Williamson, Lindsey Hunter, Mike James, those guys could have started on other teams, and they were starting for other teams. They did start for other teams. I know at that point in time, Lindsey Hunter was just kind of filling in, but these were top of the line guys. Okor could have started on other teams.
Okor started on the
He
Jazz
did.
right after he
Then
left.
their
Right?
He was an
offense
all-star.
was excellent. Their offense, when they got clicking, like it wasn't like they just had bad offense. No, if they were scoring 72 points, it's because they were going to slow the game down and efficiently score every time down. It wasn't like, oh, they can't score. And that's the mistake that I believe people make when they want to judge the 2004 Pistons. When you have to talk about matching up against them, I don't know who in today's NBA can realistically match up with them. Ben Wallace can wreck all your plans, and I'm not going to have anybody ever tell me he can't. This man wrecked entire plans, entire plays.
Bro.
Like he controlled the game from the defensive end. And if you watched him play, especially us, bro, like this panel, this age group, the range that it is, bro, we were intently into Ben Wallace. You know what I'm saying? Like
that fear of the bro.
The game on the defensive side.
When I heard old donkey face Draymond Green say what he said,
I know.
bro, you wouldn't have existed against Ben Wallace.
Don't even
You think you tough? This man held down Shaq.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And then you would have had to listen. Nobody on that team would stop Rasheed Wallace from scoring. None of them.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I'm saying. We're disrespecting this team. Who's stopping Corliss? Draymond's not. I promise you, Draymond's not. You want to talk about a guy that Draymond's not going to talk sideways to? Try to kick Corliss Williamson.
Yeah.
See what the big nasty do to you. They don't have a player in today's. They have barely a few players who can be as nasty as the big nasty was. Bro. That's what I'm saying. Like Lindsey Hunter, go look at his playoff stats.
Well, then I like
Wallace doesn't get pushed by anybody.
Tayshaun would left hook you to death down there. What do you got?
That boy got reach. He'll stand. He'll stand 10 feet away.
You think Klay Thompson is about to chase Rip Hamilton around all the time?
Thank you.
I love this.
Thank you.
Especially around that pick.
Lord.
Around that pick, swooping around like he always would. You ain't getting him.
Man, Tayshaun would have put Curry little ass on the box and posted him up, man.
Yeah. All day long.
You know, it's funny that 04 team though was like the first time I experienced like the Detroit versus everybody. Because I remember like I was like in high school and I'm like, oh, we just won the championship. Barely talked about. They hyped up LA so much before, and then I'm like, this is weird. Like, you know, it was like really my first I guess basketball I won, but like in 05 they didn't want us back, and you know how much they loved like the fact we lost. Like it's just that was just the big.
We didn't even keep up, Charles.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
You still hear guys in podcasts talking about trying to defend Rip Hamilton, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so that was a nightmare. This dude was literally an Energizer bunny the entire game. You're not going to have the legs to go down there and shoot threes all game because you're going to be tired.
He made a plastic mask cool. Like, kids wanted to wear a plastic mask on their face.
That was the defense that he played against Kobe Bryant in the finals.
Yeah.
Making him run around and chase him all game. I remember watching Kobe's line in Game 5. And Kobe's line.
That again.
He's just
Who was the Lakers starting point guard in 2004?
Peyton.
Yeah.
I forgot he existed.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a hole in that glove that year.
Like what, man?
Yeah, and you can't forget the two-headed monster at the small forward position of Devin George and Rick Fox.
Yeah, and like I said, listen, you wouldn't be able to play Steph them the entire game, but the depth you had compared to the depth this team had, you in a losing battle.
It's weird because it'll just be like rotating. They can just rotate anybody and keep you like on your toes.
Memo was a bucket. He was an absolute bucket.
He was
a
bucket, man.
He would splash threes. He would take you into the paint. He would then every now and then do the little, and then drive down the lane and dunk. Hey, Memo.
But Metalcore was just like, it's honestly like, it's one of those NBA players that you watch where it's like, this just shouldn't work, but it does. You know what I mean? It's like, there's nothing about this that screams premier athlete, but like, Memento Core could freaking hoop, dude.
He can hoop, bro.
Yeah.
What is he?
One of the biggest stars in our league is the same way. Luka Doncic.
Well, and Jokic as well. Jokic is a freaking anomaly, man.
Yeah.
Like it's like you can sit there and say, I know what Luka's gonna do.
Memo got to be one of Joe's best draft picks.
Absolutely. Second rounder.
It's probably the top value draft pick. Tayshaun Prince was first rounder. But what, in the 20s?
Tayshaun was 21 or 20 because he wore the jersey number. I think that he got picked after. So I think he was 21.
Right. That's what I believe too.
Yeah.
Memo, I forget the pick he was, but that might have been one of the best value picks. I wish we could.
Late second rounder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Goodness gracious.
Ridiculous, man. I really wish we could have, because that offseason we had to decide between him and Rasheed. And I just really wish we could have kept both of those guys because we really missed him that second year.
Man.
And I see Sean over there fuming. The one thing that he came into Woodward Sports saying, what's that amount, Sean? Ben Wallace, Chicago.
It was literally $12 million. Total. Was the disparity. It was 1 year, like Detroit offered him 4 year 48, and Chicago offered him 5 years 60, and Joe Dumars wouldn't go that fifth year. He wouldn't give the extra 12 million, and so Ben left, and they were like, Ben, what made you decide to leave? And he said, money, and that's why.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, like when you look at like what ends championship teams, generally it is going to be those contract disputes and a lot of those financial things. I know one that we could see bring up Draymond Green. If you guys heard the reports, he might want a max contract, and the Warriors might not want to give it to him.
A max contract for what?
Why would
they
you?
shouldn't?
I mean, I don't know, man. My opinion,
you know what?
Podcast worth a max contract.
He's not going to get better. He's just
you
going
know
to keep
what?
getting worse.
No.
There's no more Stan Van Gundy here that he can use to try and leverage a contract. Remember when he did that before? He leveraged I'm about to go home type stuff, and all of a sudden he re-signed or re-upped.
I forgot about that.
State.
That is the most. That's the old Pistons type of way. Draymond is not going this way. He's going this way. No, go away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to the Pistons. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, he is, like, to me, like, him getting a max isn't this unforeseen thing. Like, when you look at how Draymond plays basketball, he affects winning. He just does. The Warriors, when he wasn't there, almost looked like a dysfunctional mess. Comes back on top, wins the freaking finals. It's not a coincidence.
I'm not even gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean it is, but it's levels. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not
I just don't think he's worth a max. Every impact player got a max.
Yeah, I was about to say you can give him a big. You can get him a big off. Some of these other teams.
He's worth a bag though.
Still would have been successful. It's not like he was doing world beater stuff out there.
He's worth what he's worth.
Yeah,
the
agreed.
that he's coming off of.
Right. Well said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yep.
Look, I think things were well covered tonight, man.
Yeah, I'm like about to doze off. My eyes are good.
Yep.
I hear these storms coming in, man. Look, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody on the panel, everybody rocking out in the comments. All the good basketball perspective. Shout out to Steve. We're gonna have to get him back on. We're gonna have to get his commentary on it because, like I said, we got a lot of good basketball minds in Pistons Twitter and the Pistons content creator world just in general. And I love being able to listen to those guys and gals and people all over talk basketball. I really do, especially if it's the Pistons. But any last words from you all? Sean, we'll start with you, I guess.
I did see one comment that said, Charles, he said a max contract for 8 points a game. Brother, if you're looking at Draymond Green and you're worried about what he's doing in the points per game column, you're not watching basketball.
We just talked about Ben Wallace not getting his money.
That's never been what it's been about with Draymond.
Yeah, there's just certain players that go and there's truly and this is truly a thing. I think in the internet era, I think we've got overly obsessed with statistics, and I think we let it define value sometimes. I think it's a big thing. So I just want to address that comment. All love. This was a great conversation. Enjoy talking with y'all as always.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man.
Carl, thanks for being here, Lexi.
What?
I said thanks for being here.
I know. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start making it. It's just been so hectic these last couple of weeks, getting all this stuff launched and ready. And
you good, man?
Almost smooth thing. I do have another thing coming up too with MMG that I'm working on. So that's still in the works. Thing. So it's gonna be a busy fall.
Hey,
let's get it,
man. Everybody's doing big things, man. That's what's
I know. I love seeing all you guys succeed and doing good stuff. I love it.
I do, man. Anybody else, man? Got anything to say before we sign off?
Y'all ain't got me going down memory lane thinking about the old Port Pistons.
I know.
I'm about to pop this DVD in, man.
I'm gonna be watching YouTube guys all day tomorrow.
We gotta revisit that again later.
Yeah, we definitely do, man. We need a watch party.
We need to have like a recap episode. We should break down a game 5. That'd be fun.
That's a great idea.
Ooh, that's a good idea, Lexi.
That would be
good. Watch a game or just get a compilation of highlights and we can all watch it and then break it down and talk about it.
Give a history lesson to the 15 and 20 year olds here. You know,
absolutely, man.
I actually tweeted a video. I tweeted a video a few days ago. It recapped like the whole 2000s and 2010s, like everything.
Oh, really?
I'll retweet it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that.
That's gonna be dope.
Let's do that.
Is the 2010s just like a still image of a trash can?
Oh god.
And like watching it like evolve over time.
Just like
we also gonna have like put a picture of like Tayshaun Prince on the outside of the trash can with his arms up like that, asking for a foul with a bubble that says buffoonery.
Man.
Right. Yeah.
We
gotta do that for sure. Gotta do it for sure.
We're going to. We definitely going to. Hey, Sean Ye West, man, you gonna take us out, bro?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody around the world, we want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Woodward Pistons Table Talk, where we are the center of conversation in the world of Detroit Pistons fandom. We are just merely months away from the next NBA season, so you know where you got to be tuning in. You got to be subscribed and locked in here at Woodward Pistons. But in addition to everybody on this panel and everything that they're doing, if you're not tuned in to everything King and everything he's doing with the Detroit Lions, with Lions Nation Unite, with everything that he's got going on, you're making a mistake. If you ain't tuning in downtown Deuce and not getting tuned in for Destination Restoration, then man, you are missing out. Lexi, you better be sure to go listen to her podcast and everything that she's doing with Michigan football and everything going on there. She is incredibly awesome. And then Carl, all the awesome videos that he's got going on, all the work he's doing for Woodward Pistons. Man, this guy, he is different, brother. Like, truly, he is talented. And it's just like the little bits and snippets and sneak peeks I've seen, and even just everything I've seen that Carl's come out with, I'm more and more impressed every time. So, man, be sure that you're tuned in. But last and most certainly not least, the Godfather, the man himself, Detroit Kool-Aid, the one that keeps the lights on, that makes the world go around, the one that is the one that makes things happen. Our boy Kool-Aid.
Hey,
always
appreciate you. Appreciate everybody on this panel. It's a family. And
also subscribe to From Half Court. There's
I was gonna say, shout out to Sean too.
I'll do that for myself.
Sean just went around the whole table. Shout out to Sean, man. You gotta give me your flowers too, bro.
Sure. I appreciate it, man. I was like, I'm gonna give everyone their gas. I was like, you can go watch my channel if you want. You know? But
You gotta plug your stuff, man. You already know.
Yeah.
But with that, we want to thank you all so much for tuning in. We will catch you guys next week here on the Woodward Pistons Table Talk, and be sure you're on the lookout for the Woodward Pistons show, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Zelikow Rocha is the greatest Piston of all time.
Yo, bro, yo, we gotta